Tonight on CTV News.
Our laws have not kept pace with the criminals who break them.
The push by police for a new law. Should investigators get faster and broader access to digital evidence? Plus,
we told everyone to come here at least 3 hours ahead, so then we can kind of just make sure that we get everyone, we don't get through traffic.
A busy travel day at YVR to kick off the start of spring break and the destination that may be the hottest ticket also.
They've never been seen in Canada before. That's very unusual.
The mystery of the unknown orcas spotted in Vancouver Harbour and the clues that helped identify them.
This is CTV News with Michelle Brunoro.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Some of BC's top policing officials stood shoulder to shoulder with the federal public safety minister to support a new law he's trying to pass. It's aimed at making it easier for police to access digital evidence, but a previous version had failed in the wake of privacy concerns. CTV's Penny Daflos now on why this time is different.
From high-profile murders to extortion-related shootings to cyber scams, there are countless hours of police work the public never sees. Much of that investigative work includes electronic communications such as texts and emails.
Our laws have not kept pace with the criminals who break them.
Some of BC's top cops joined the provincial and federal safety ministers to voice support for new legislation tabled in Ottawa to get police faster, broader access to digital evidence.
This is a universal problem across law enforcement, and it has been for decades, and it needs to be addressed.
The bill also crucially brings us in line with other jurisdictions around the world when it comes to investigative tools involving social media companies and online cross-border crime.
This is the Liberals' second shot trying to pass such a bill after facing pushback from civil liberties groups with privacy concerns the first time.
This version of the bill does a far better job of narrowing the type of information they can get and under what circumstances.
It in no way enables additional powers to law enforcement. What it does is allow law enforcement to have a tool that minimizes the initial process of identifying where this phone number or email address or account is attached to.
How meaningful is this in practice to actually speed up investigations?
Whether it's a low-level, say, like an auto offense, or all the way home invasions, carjackings, homicide, national security, all of that. Phone numbers or internet addresses are often key, and a key starting point and a building block.
When officers are forced to wait and investigations are stalled waiting for results, that can lead to weeks, if not months, of time savings on a wide variety of investigations.
Despite having the support of CSIS and police from across the country, the Liberals still need to convince other party members to support Bill C-22 in order for it to pass and become law. Penny Daflos, CTV News, Vancouver.
According to authorities in Belize, a Kelowna senior has been found dead on a catamaran off the coast of the Central American country. And the woman he was with was rescued off the boat by a passing cruise ship. This is the video of the catamaran called Melinda in the waters off Belize. According to a police report that local media shared with CTV News, a woman traveling with 72-year-old Thomas Harmon described how he fell while climbing the boat's mast, hit his head and died. Authorities say the catamaran drifted at sea until being found by a passing cruise ship on Monday.
We received a distress call from the MSC Divina, which is a cruise ship that found this vessel adrift in the water. There was a body on board, as well as there was a female in distress. And the vessel arrived in Keycocker this morning. It was towed into Keycocker, where the police department did their initial investigation.
This afternoon, a family member was told Harmon's cause of death was a fall from a height. This man's son is in Belize making arrangements to bring his father's body back to BC. A lease agreement between the City of Vancouver, its police department, and a private developer is raising questions as to whether it's in the best interest of the public purse. The City of Vancouver is on the hook to pay the VPD's rent, foregoing a hefty property tax bill. CTV's Isabella Zavarisi reports.
The announcement of a new training academy for the Vancouver Police Department in the Woodwards building was pitched as a win for the VPD. While Vancouver is set to gain newly trained officers, it's also expected to incur a loss. The city will be paying the VPD's lease, waiving valuable commercial taxes.
I think there's a lot that's gone into the questions, and rightfully so, the questions that have been raised by the public as to whether or not this is the right decision.
The building is owned by Westbank. With the city footing the bill, it's foregoing an estimated $170,000 a year in property taxes.
The overall tax base of the city is diminished by the value of the city's interest in this land.
Under the Vancouver Charter, city-owned property is exempt from taxation. Private property leased by the city, however, is not.
With a normal commercial tenant in the space, they would get normal business taxes. And that becomes part of the overall general revenue of the city of Vancouver.
Council approved $1.2 million in funding for the space. Councillor and mayoral candidate Rebecca Bly voted against it.
I think really what it highlights is a failed approach to public safety.
The loss in revenue comes amidst a freeze on property tax increases and numerous city festivals on the brink of closure.
There is an element of fiscal responsibility when it comes to whether or not this is the right use of taxpayer funding, not only to pay market rent, but also to lose close to $200,000 in property taxes at a time when we are facing extraordinary budget reductions.
One SFU professor says the decision speaks to larger issues around public benefit and economic development.
Are we getting the best bang for our buck? And I think that this is really, part of the kind of dilemmas, that are now being put forward in this empty space in the Woodwards project.
Mayor Ken Sims says he's excited about the new training academy, adding that it's a step forward for public safety in our city. Isabella Zavarisi, CTV News, Vancouver.
The extortion task force has been called to Delta after shots were fired at a business overnight. Police were called to the Tilbury Industrial Park around 3:30 a.m., where they found several shots had been fired into a business in the 7500 block of Vantage Place. No one was inside at the time. Police say CCTV revealed the occupants of a white sedan firing multiple shots into the business before fleeing the scene. Extortion-related shootings in the Lower Mainland have grown less common in recent weeks after surging to crisis levels at the start of the year. Spring break is officially underway, and if you're passing through YVR, you'll likely notice the terminal buzzing a little more than usual. CTV's Dimitra Maragos is at the airport tonight. And Dimitra, are travelers already getting a head start on the holiday rush?
Yeah, Michelle, we're certainly not the scene that our morning crew saw this morning. We're not seeing those long lineups. However, despite that, YVR tells us that today they estimated that around 74,000 travelers are going to come through these airports. However, when you look around me right now, I'm reminded of that song, Wide Open Spaces. That's what we're seeing. But if you're not hopping on a plane, you may already have the hottest ticket. Travelers are trading spreadsheets for suitcases as spring break rush picks up at YVR.
One of our busier days as people get a jump on that spring break travel.
YVR says between March 13th and the 29th, they're expecting 70,000 travelers a day, with a peak day expected to be March 26th, with 76,000 travelers coming through YVR.
We anticipate that a lot of people are traveling, so just staying prepared and being ahead of it.
Arthur Lee's group of 12 is Guatemala bound, and despite a flight delay, they arrived early just in case of long lineups.
We told everyone to come here at least 3 hours ahead, so then we can kind of just make sure that we get everyone, we don't get through traffic, anything like that.
While some may be rolling into warmer weather, some travelers are choosing YVR as their destination.
We also see a lot of strong passenger numbers coming here this year, whether from elsewhere in Canada or internationally.
Including Troy Martin, an avid skier from Wisconsin who hit the slopes in Whistler.
It was amazing. We had snow every day, not super crowded, so yeah, it was just fun. Town was hopping. It was just a good time.
And he says he'll be coming back.
I think so. Yeah. Yes, for sure.
While Americans may be coming up, the feeling may not be mutual. A survey from Nano's research for CTV News found that 43% of Canadians are less likely to travel to the U.S. this year compared to last year. 38% of respondents said they don't vacation in the U.S.
It's a combination of, making a statement, and that has to do with kind of supporting Canada, avoiding the United States, looking at a place that's safe, but also keeping something and making decisions that are affordable.
But with spring breakers ready to flood the gates, YVR says it's prepared.
Things are flowing as we like to see.
And again, with spring break in full swing, you want to make sure that you're arriving at the airport early and also checking YVR's websites for any updates to your flights. And you want to make sure that you're not only just packing your passport, but a little extra patience. Michelle?
Good advice. Thanks for that. Well, has the search for a permanent Canucks practice facility finally come to an end? Rumors circulating that the team's bound for Britannia in East Van, but it's far from a done deal. What we know so far in just a moment. But first, you are looking at a live snowy shot from Grouse Mountain today, although kind of socked in there, not so socked in here this afternoon, though, fortunately.
A delightful day in Vancouver, and we've got another nice one ahead tomorrow. Let's take a look at what we have in store. We have a nice day ahead tomorrow, but then an atmospheric river will be making its presence felt on Sunday. There we go. Here it is. This is what I'm talking about. Tomorrow, a delightful day ahead, mainly sunny skies. And then the rain returns on Sunday. And if that weren't enough, yes, special weather statement, atmospheric river, as I just said, for Howe Sound, Inland, North and West Vancouver Island, Metro Vancouver, Northeast, not the city of Vancouver as yet. Coquitlam and Maple Ridge are in there in the sea to sky.
CTV Weather brought to you by Expedia Cruises. Explore the endless possibilities at one of our 36 BC locations. Learn more at expediacruises.ca.
All right, so we have a nice day ahead tomorrow, but Sunday the rain returns and it's going to be some wild weather ahead.
Oh dear. And you know what, this morning even, the change from this morning where it was snowing, but now it turned into a beautiful day. Yeah. Thanks for that.
Thank you.
Well, could the Canucks soon have a permanent practice facility? A new report indicates the team in the city of Vancouver could be nearing a deal to build it in East Vancouver. CTV's Craig Crouse reports.
Canucks fans haven't had much to cheer for this season. The team is in the basement of the NHL standings. But a new report surfacing this week could be something to get excited about.
Britannia's always been in the works for the Vancouver Canucks, and it's something that they've always had their eye on.
Co-host of Rink-Wide Vancouver, Irfan Ghaffar, says his sources told him that the Canucks in the city of Vancouver are nearing an agreement to build a practice facility at the Britannia Arena off of Commercial Drive, sending the fan base into a frenzy.
About 20,000 square feet, maybe a little bit bigger than that. Believe the city's going to have 2 floors of office space as well included.
CTV News reached out to the city, but they said they do not comment on the status of any discussions related to specific sites or land use matters. And the Canucks said they have no comment or anything to share.
Has there been any communication between the city, the Canucks, and yourself?
Nothing official. We've heard whispers about plans in the works.
The Britannia Community Services Centre Society helps oversee the complex, including the 50-year-old rink that is now at the center of speculation.
This community, needs new spaces, and if the Canucks can be part of that, that's a great thing. We would love to be more included in the discussions, just so we can make sure that what the community needs is really deeply considered.
A main concern is whether the construction would interfere with the replacement of the aging pool.
It's pretty essential to a lot of people's health and well-being.
As is the current sheet of ice. And for those who are using it Friday, there were mixed emotions.
It'd be great if the Canucks could use a space, but if it comes at the loss of, the rink for the community, that would be kind of unfortunate.
I get a double bonus, NHLers being around.
I think there's not enough ice for the community as it is.
Now, with the city and the Canucks silent, the neighborhood is left wondering when or if the team is moving in.
The I's are not fully dotted and the T's aren't fully crossed just yet.
Craig Crouse, CTV News, Vancouver.
Coming up, the story of how kittens were saved from a crushing fate, plus
pretty magical, mystical, huge, intelligent creatures.
Solving an orca mystery. The first Vancouver visit by a trio of unknown killer whales. How the local wildlife community helped researchers figure out where the orcas came from. More than 24 drivers had their vehicles impounded after police did a major crackdown on speeding. Surrey police say they impounded 25 vehicles over the course of a recent 4-day traffic enforcement crackdown. One driver was clocked going 183 in an 80 zone without insurance, while another driver without a valid license was clocked going 139 in a 50 zone. Among those charged with excessive speeding were 5 drivers with novice licenses. When a trio of unknown orcas suddenly appeared in Vancouver's Burrard Inlet, even experts didn't know who they were or where they came from. Tonight, new clues are helping solve the mystery. And as CTV's Kevin Chirac reports, major credit is being given to one local wildlife group.
A lot. I've seen a lot of whales.
Alex Cole heard about a mysterious trio spotted in the Burrard Inlet over the weekend.
They're pretty magical, mystical, huge, intelligent creatures.
He took many photos, along with others who captured the Orca show that lasted several days. Those images, shared widely on his wildlife sighting Facebook group, helped researchers figure out where these whales came from.
We managed to recognize them, put it together, and then it all sort of snowballed from there.
Now, spotting orcas in the Burrard Inlet always draws attention, but this particular whale trio has researchers especially excited.
They've never been seen in Canada before. That's very unusual.
In more than 50 years of documenting whales in BC waters, researchers say this is a first.
This is the first time that any population of Bigg's killer whale, other than the West Coast transient population, which spends a lot of time in these waters, has been seen in the Salish Sea.
But Cole's photos revealed key clues, including distinct scarring that appears to be from cookie-cutter sharks.
So these scars from cookie-cutter sharks turn up on these whales, and they're commonly found on killer whales that are photographed around the Aleutian Islands.
That's far up in Alaska, and thanks to Cole's photos, researchers confirmed the same trio was documented in Anchorage last March.
Why they're over here in the eastern North Pacific is anybody's guess.
Could be food, climate, or something else, but scientists say it's too early to know for sure. The whales are believed to have spent about 4 days in the Vancouver harbor before resurfacing in Seattle on Wednesday. Researchers will keep tracking the trio as they continue their unexpected journey down the coast. And thanks to photos from people like Cole, there's now a much clearer understanding of who these whales are and where they've been.
Citizen science is massive, and it makes a huge impact, and the resources of thousands of interested people taking photos and observations, it's enormous.
The 3 are now officially cataloged as T419, T420, and T421. Kevin Chirac, CTV News, Vancouver.
Beautiful creatures. Well, at just a few weeks old, 2 kittens in Abbotsford have already used up one of their 9 lives when they were saved from a crushing fate. A worker at a waste management facility was loading cardboard into a compactor last month when he heard faint cries coming from the pile. He found 2 tiny kittens buried in cardboard and immediately brought them to the SPCA. Over the next few days, he found 3 more kittens at the site. The kittens are all with foster families and will be available for adoption in about 6 weeks. Charges have been laid after a boy falls from a zip line in Ontario. That story coming up, but first.
That was surprising to see, but, war is crazy.
The cost of war, the latest on the conflict in the Middle East with mounting deaths and the impact on the global economy. The Middle East, now in its 14th day, is showing no signs of slowing down. The U.S. and Israel are pounding Iran, and the number of deaths and the knock-on effects of the global economy continue to mount. CTV's Heather Wright is in Turkey with the latest developments.
What appears to be a projectile streaks across the sky near Incirlik Air Base in southern Turkey. NATO confirming a missile from Iran bound for Turkey was intercepted today, the 3rd such interception since the war began.
It sounds crazy because, normally Iran is a semi-ally to Turkey. So that was surprising to see, but, war is crazy.
Turkish authorities have not said what the target was, but U.S. and NATO troops are stationed at Incirlik. In Istanbul, the mood is calm, but there is worry the war could spread.
They are trying to involve other countries too, and so maybe there will be something, but I'm hoping it won't be anything bad.
Today, the United States confirmed a refueling plane, similar to the one seen here, crashed in western Iraq. killing all 6 crew members. U.S. Central Command says the crash was not caused by hostile or friendly fire and is under investigation. In Tehran, smoke can be seen rising as thousands gathered to mark Al-Quds Day, one of many rallies across the country. People are not afraid of these attacks, the head of the judiciary said, vowing Iran won't back down. While Iran has been battered by U.S. and Israeli bombardment, it continues to strike its neighbors, with thick black smoke seen rising from Dubai's financial district today. In northern Israel, Iran's proxy Hezbollah fired hundreds of rockets overnight, injuring dozens, including a number of children. Israel continues to hit Beirut and its suburbs, with the death toll in Lebanon at nearly 700, according to the health ministry. Today, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres visited Lebanon and called for an immediate ceasefire.
Lebanon was dragged into a war that is not a war that its people would be willing to have.
The exact death toll of this conflict is still not clear, but government officials and UN agencies believe as many as 2,000 people have been killed and millions displaced, the majority in Iran and Lebanon. Heather Wright, CTV News, Istanbul.
Meanwhile, in the U.S., the Pentagon is reporting its joint operation has hit more than 15,000 targets in Iran. And the Secretary of Defense is suggesting Iran's new supreme leader was seriously wounded in those initial strikes and is likely disfigured. Peter Hegseth says the new supreme leader is desperate and hiding underground. He's also dismissing fears about oil disruptions through the Strait of Hormuz, effectively blocked by Iran. It's causing Americans to worry about their financials as they feel the impact of soaring gas and now food prices. But Donald Trump says it's short-term pain that is necessary for a nuclear-free Iran.
We are decimating them. We've knocked out most of their missiles. We've knocked out many of their drones. We're hitting them harder than anybody's been hit since World War II.
While Trump insists on Iran's unconditional surrender, the war has cost the U.S. more than $11 billion in just the first 6 days alone. And the Iran war is also continuing to have an effect on the sports world as Formula One is set to cancel 2 races in the Middle East. The Bahrain and Saudi Arabian Grand Prix next month will both be removed from the F1 calendar. It's highly unlikely the races will be replaced, meaning the season will go from 24 to 22 races. 7-time world champion Lewis Hamilton expressed faith in F1 to make the right decision to keep everyone involved safe. Coming up, Call a Boomer, how a relic from the past is helping students connect with seniors. Plus,
it's not the angel's share, for us, it's the angel's gift.
How southern Alberta's wild swings in weather are impacting whiskey production in a good way. We'll explain as CTV News continues. This was a shocking scene in Osaka when a 4-story tall pipe emerged from the ground during sewer construction work. A city official said the pipe that's used for soil retention simply was not there the day before. Crews used water to force the pipe back down underground, but it's still partially exposed. An investigation continues as officials try to figure out what went wrong. A relic from the past is helping students connect with seniors. Many young people have possibly never seen one before, but a new payphone on the streets of Boston is attracting attention. This phone invites people to call a boomer for free. When you make the call, you're connected to a senior's home in Nevada. The idea is the brainchild of a neuroscience company, which is aiming to reduce loneliness in boomers and members of Generation Z. Well, I love that idea. I think that's wonderful. Of course, I remember phone booths, so.
I remember payphones all too well myself. Kids these days will never know the struggle of having to find the quarter.
Find the booth and then find the quarter. I know.
How did we do it? We walked uphill 10 miles in the snow barefoot to school.
I know, incredible. Right. So our weather, what a change from the morning to later today for sure.
Yeah, if you didn't like the weather, just wait 5 minutes. It was one of those days. Right now in Vancouver, it is sunny. It is bright out there. It is 6 degrees. The winds are calm. It is nice and uneventful. As we head into overnight, we're going to see the temperature drop ever so slightly. A chance of some showers. Chance. But tomorrow we start the day very cool, but sunny, and the sun will remain throughout the day. Look at that. 7 degrees will be our high tomorrow, but don't get too excited because we've got a system moving in. More on that in just a second. Here's a look at some of those showers that you saw on that next 24 grid. As quickly as it comes, it goes. And then tomorrow, nothing but sunshine. Look at that. It'll be a clear, sunny day. So get those patio reservations ready because the clouds will come in. And then we've got this. Yes, atmospheric river. This special weather statement will take place Sunday through Wednesday. So we have tomorrow as a reprieve, and that will be in effect for Howe Sound, Inland North, West Vancouver Island, Metro Vancouver Northeast, not the city of Vancouver at this time. Coquitlam and Maple Ridge will be impacted, and the Sea to Sky, Squamish to Whistler. So let's take a look at the forecast for tomorrow, shall we? Port Hardy, a mix of sun and cloud and some showers, 5 degrees. Campbell River, Comox, mainly sunny and a high of 9. Mainly sunny from top to bottom on the South Island, which look at that, high of 9s across the board. As we head to the Sunshine Coast, high of 8 degrees under mainly sunny skies. Squamish, you will be in that special weather statement come Sunday, so enjoy tomorrow. And Whistler, you're going to see a mix of sun and cloud and a high of 5 degrees. Whistler will also be under that special weather statement come Sunday. As for the Lower Mainland, tomorrow highs between 7 and 8 degrees. It's going to be a nice one, friends. More cloud cover as you head toward the valley, but again, dry, that is, until Sunday. Look at that. Nothing but doom and gloom. The temperature does go up as of Monday, but the rain will be in full effect. So keep those umbrellas handy. CTV weather is brought to you by Expedia Cruises for air, land, and sea vacations. BC Children's Hospital Choices Lottery is back. Your ticket support research breakthroughs that will help conquer childhood illness. Check out these spring bonus prizes worth $80,000. Choose from a $25,000 luxury trip, gas and groceries, plus $5,000 cash, or a 2026 Kia Sorento, or choose $50,000 cash, plus 7 winners of $4,000 in groceries or travel, or $3,000 cash. Spring bonus deadline, midnight tonight. Wow. Yes. So, Michelle, again, tomorrow's going to be a nice, bright, sunshiny day, but that is short-lived because Sunday we've got an atmospheric river hitting most of the province. So.
Wow. Well, I will be getting outside tomorrow and hunkering down on Sunday, I think.
Hunker.
Yes, absolutely. Thanks for that. Okay, bye-bye. Well, if you've spent time in southern Alberta, you've probably experienced the sharp weather change of a Chinook. Well, it turns out those weather fluctuations can have a positive impact on whiskey production. One Calgary distillery says its single malt whiskey is maturing in half the time it takes at operations in Scotland. CTV's Kevin Fleming explains.
Some of the whiskey in these barrels has been aging since the Eau Claire distillery opened. The aroma inside the warehouse is strong, and that's due to something the industry calls angel's share.
We actually term it now, it's not the angel's share, for us it's the angel's gift. And that's because it does have such an effect on the maturation.
David Farron and master distiller Danny Gowrie regularly monitor the temperature and pressure changes at the distillery in Diamond Valley. Farron says there's a lot of evaporation out of the barrels, but it's mostly water.
It's about 3% a year in other countries. We're about 12% for the first year, so we lose a huge amount. But what we lose because of our dry climate is we lose the moisture. And so we can actually, it sort of concentrates the whiskey and the flavor.
Gowrie is from Glasgow and says he's not used to the big weather changes here.
This was relatively new territory for me when I first came to Alberta. obviously used to the Scottish environment and what that maturation profile is like. So we are just, I was shocked initially just at the kind of depth and complexity that we could get from casks.
Gowrie says it takes about a week to make whiskey from malted barley, water, and yeast. But when he travels to whiskey judging events, he's explaining more about how our weather impacts the product.
Especially when we go overseas, it's a very unknown type of climate that people are not used to as well. And when you explain how quickly the temperature can change in a relatively short period of time, there's a lot of shock and amazement.
Farron says the distillery's newest product is a celebration of the Alberta ingredients along with its weather in a bottle. Kevin Fleming, CTV News, Diamond Valley.
A medical invention by a Canadian doctor is featured on a hit TV show. We've got the details coming up. Plus,
I know there's a lot of people struggling. I'm struggling, and that $48 is a lot.
New banking rules are now in effect, which should save Canadians lots of money. There's now a cap on how much you have to pay for NSF fees if you're a bit short in your bank account. Details ahead. Plus, charges have been laid against the owners of a trampoline park after an 11-year-old boy was injured using a zip line. The details coming up.
Time now for tonight's Skywatch. Old Man Winter made another appearance on Coquitlam's Westward Plateau this morning. Here's a look at Panorama Drive. Yikes, under a chilly gray sky.
CTV Skywatch is brought to you by Kermac Collision and Autoglass, the name you'll remember when it matters. Kermac cares for kids.
Taking a look at today's markets, the Canadian dollar traded for just under 73 cents to the American dollar. Oil was up $2.98, closing the day at $98.71 U.S. a barrel. And gold lost just over $64 on the day. The TSX was down 298 points, while the Dow Jones was down 119 points. Charges have been laid against the owners of a Toronto trampoline park where a child was injured in a zipline fall. The 11-year-old boy fell several meters to the ground after his harness failed in January and suffered extensive internal and external bruising. Today, Ontario's safety regulator announced they had laid 9 charges against the owners of the park. These include operating an amusement device without authorization, providing false information, and operating an amusement device in an unsafe manner. The boy's family tells CTV News they hope the process reinforces the importance of safety compliance so that no other family has to go through what they have experienced. A medical device developed by a Canadian doctor was featured last night on an episode of The Pit. The device, called Ring Rescue, helps remove rings that get stuck on fingers. It was developed in 2018 by a physician and 2 engineers from Nova Scotia and is now used in 2,000 hospitals across North America.
Be able to have our product on there is really, really cool. It's something I'm very proud of. I think our whole team is really excited about. And I think it's a great local win as well, to take a local intervention and get into what's arguably the top show on television right now.
Nova Scotia Premier Tim Houston congratulated Dr. Kevin Spencer and his team in a post on social media, sharing a picture of him with the Pit actor Noah Wilde, demonstrating how the device works. If you've ever paid a bill and were a bit short in your bank account, you could be hit with a non-sufficient funds or NSF charge. This week, new rules went into effect to limit how much banks can charge customers if your account is running a little low. CTV's Pat Foran has more.
I think that I'm not the only one that's dealing with this.
Elvira Townsend told CTV News she tries to pay her bills on time, but last year her bank balance dropped to minus $9, and she was charged an NSF fee of $48, putting her account $57 in arrears.
I know there's a lot of people struggling. I'm struggling, and that $48 is a lot.
Canada's major banks were able to charge $45 to $48 per NSF transaction, which allowed them to profit billions of dollars since the fees were first implemented. No more. Now there's a $10 cap on non-sufficient fund fees.
It will give a glimpse of hope to people.
Acorn Canada, a group that fights for low and moderate income people, says the changes will help, especially at a time when many Canadians are struggling to pay their bills.
With all these groceries going up and the rents that doesn't stop to increase, this is a win-win.
With the new regulations, consumers cannot be charged an NSF fee more than once in a period of 2 business days for the same account, and consumers will not be charged NSF fees when the shortfall on the account is less than $10.
Capping NSF fees is considered a win for consumers, but some advocates say banks should be forced to do much more.
This is a small win, a small baby step by the federal government.
Duff Conacher with Democracy Watch worries banks will find a way to recoup the fees some other way. He says the next target for the government should be slashing credit card interest rates. Many cards have rates of 20 to 30%, which he calls price gouging.
Rates have not gone down when interest rates dropped. They automatically go up when interest rates go up. And it's just a big cash cow for the banks.
While capping NSF fees at $10 may be a good start, Acorn says Canadian banks should have to follow American banks. Many have eliminated NSF fees altogether. Pat Foran, CTV News.
Brandi's Show Lounge, a longtime exotic entertainment venue in downtown Vancouver, is closing its doors. The business posted to its social media today that after 26 years, it's closing down for good due to unsuccessful lease negotiations with the building's landlord. Brandi says it will cease operations after the first week of May. A Celtic festival, a wine festival, and the annual Home and Garden Show. The Friday Feel Goods are just ahead. Plus, hitting the bullseye, Adam finds out how throwing darts is earning a Langford family accolades internationally. Next on the Sawatsky Sign-Off. And right now, here's Carrie with a preview of your morning Vancouver.
It's been a turbulent couple of years when it comes to food prices, and it's not over yet. Monday on Your Morning Vancouver, how turmoil in the Middle East is impacting the cost of putting food on the table. Also, during the era of AI and deep fakes, a closer look at misinformation and why people are so eager to share it. We're back after the weekend. We'll see you Monday morning.
Obviously really exciting. It's just like 20 minutes from where I grew up, so it'd be awesome, and just kind of show the boys around Germany.
The NHL will be bringing the game across the pond next season in an attempt to grow the sport overseas. The Ottawa Senators and Chicago Blackhawks will face off twice in Dusseldorf, Germany on December 18th and 20th. The NFL's Tennessee Titans are paying homage to their team's history with their new logo and jerseys. The new look Titans feature a fresh light blue and white color scheme with red accents, with a new logo featuring a T surrounded by 3 stars. It looks strikingly similar to the team's predecessor, the Houston Oilers, who relocated and became the Titans in the late 90s. The countdown is on to the 98th Academy Awards this weekend.
I can't support your mother. You're not going to have to, because I'm going to step up. I'm going to step up in a way you can't even imagine.
Marty Supreme won battle after another, and Sinners are among the favorite for the major awards, with Sinners earning a whopping 16 nominations. Plus, live performers include the group Huntrix from K-pop Demon Hunters, the favorite to win Best Animated Film. You can watch the Oscars on Sunday right here on CTV. Well, it's a sure sign spring is knocking at the door in BC. A Vancouver Island petting zoo opened its gates for the year, and they have a new crop of young animals ready to play. There are 7 bouncing baby goats this year at the Beacon Hill Children's Farm in Victoria. They have the caffeine crew named Jabba, Joe, and Bean, and the season squad, spring, summer, autumn, and winter. Staff say the goats still need lots of rest while they are growing, but we'll be out to see visitors for short bursts of time through the day.
It feels like a great start. You know, the last year we only had 1 little baby goat born. Sometimes they don't always get pregnant, or it takes a little longer, or their mamas are a bit elderly and it just takes time. So this starting off with 7 babies who can grow up together, play, meet people as a little group. It's a happy start to a happy, joyful start to the season.
Oh, the farm is open daily from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. with a goat stampede twice a day. A great way to spend an afternoon in the capital.
A happy, joyful start to my Friday night. That was amazing.
Can we just play that for the rest of the show?
Let's do
Want to
it.
see a goat stampede, right?
Oh my gosh, yes,
All right, well, it is time for Friday Feel Goods, a weekly roundup of unique events happening in Metro Vancouver.
Here are 3 things worth checking out.
To the St. Patrick's Day spirit early at Celtic Fest Vancouver. Kick up your heels at a traditional ceilidh and then crack a Guinness while catching some live music at the Hollywood Theatre. The festival gets underway tonight and wraps up with a community family day at the Art Gallery on Sunday. Okay, that looks fun.
We were all just dancing off camera,
yeah,
too.
were you not?
First the goats and then the Irish jig.
Just a
We're
great
out of
Friday.
control
Got it
right
all
now.
today.
Well, if you like that, you're going to love this. Refine your palate at the Vancouver International Wine Festival, which is already in full swing. You won't need to choose between red or white, with 1,000 wines available to taste from 112 wineries around the world. 112 wines from France are in the spotlight this year, with wineries pouring in from 10 different regions.
Nice.
Yeah, there are so many wineries just in BC too, right? Like every year it seems like we're just getting more of them in the Fraser Valley.
They are everywhere, which is good for us. Well, if you're looking for some inspiration or your next DIY project, the BC Home and Garden Show is back at Vancouver Convention Centre. The annual event will feature more than 300 exhibitors, as well as live demos at the cooking stage. You can get some advice on your to-do list from experts in home improvement, design, and landscaping. I have problems keeping plants alive, so I should probably take that on.
See, and I'm thinking I need some help in trying to do a few renos, maybe. Need lots of help for that. All right, if you have any events you'd like us to highlight, email your tips to ctvfeelgoods@ctv.ca. And just before we get to the Sawatsky sign-off, Lauren is here, and she's going to tell us the look ahead for the late local news. Lauren?
Yeah, that's right, Michelle. There has been yet another break-in at a hobby shop in Metro Vancouver. With Pokemon cards the target yet again. There have been several B&Es in the Lower Mainland and Fraser Valley recently, with police issuing a warning about all of them. We will have more on the latest store hit ahead at 11:30.
Wow, yeah, that really does keep happening, does it? Okay, and finally tonight, Adam finds out how one man's passion became something he could share with his kids and how their talent for it was a total bullseye on the Sawatsky sign-off.
Bill Hammond Jr. had dismissed this as a pub game before being invited to throw darts competitively.
It's an adrenaline rush. You get like so pumped.
But winning local and provincial championships,
you go, wow, right?
Can't compare to having a couple kids.
And it feels so good.
Bill's son Peyton was 3 when he started playing on a magnetic board.
Attaboy.
Before graduating to his dad's real one.
It's fun just throwing with Dad all the time.
And even better when his younger sister Jada joins them.
Dad's definitely been my biggest supporter.
And now throwing darts has become the family's biggest pastime.
We don't have a kitchen.
Instead of one table, the space is dominated by 2 boards that they all played 7 days a week during the pandemic.
That was wicked. We had so much fun.
They used a webcam to compete with people virtually across the country. And by the time it was over, Jada and Peyton were so good, they started winning real contests.
For them to follow my footsteps, I thought was great.
Until Peyton suddenly developed a debilitating mental block called dartitis and couldn't throw.
It's like it's stuck to your hand.
It's not fun. It's the worst thing you can ever get.
But after struggling for months, Peyton overcame the condition thanks to the support of his family and went on to become a multiple national champion.
It feels good to just show up, do my thing, have fun.
While Jada can effortlessly describe how she felt winning a national title too,
it's just that rush of excitement, like, oh my God, I did it.
It's not so easy for Bill to put into words the feeling of watching them win.
And I can't even explain how emotional it gets.
But these pictures of the dad celebrating his children becoming champions hits the bullseye.
Dude, I bawled. I bawled my eyes out, man.
Although Bill couldn't be more proud that Peyton is planning to go pro after becoming the first Canadian youth to win gold at the Worlds, he says the best prize of all is simply having fun with his family.
It's a crazy life, but that's what we do.
Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, Langford.
The Sawatsky Sign-Off, brought to you by
CapitalDirect.ca. Let's make your vision a reality with Capital Direct. Call and talk to our team today.
Oh, I must be so proud. Hey, what an accomplishment.
Definitely. I love how they went from the kitchen to winning international tournaments.
No kidding.
No biggie.
All in a day's work.
I've never heard of dartitis before either, so I feel like I learned something on this Friday evening.
I learned something too. I also didn't know you could play virtually, so I learned a few things today.
There you go.
Educational here on CTV News Vancouver. All right, let's take a look at the scenic snapshot, shall we? Thank you, Andy Cook, for sending this in all the way from Kamloops. Some very interesting clouds there. If you want your photo featured, email us scenicsnapshot@ctv.ca. We're going to see some really dark skies this weekend. Beginning Sunday, the rain returns.
Wow, that was a very beautiful photo, however.
Beautiful.
So get ready for the rain, I guess. Enjoy
sunshine tomorrow.
Sunday. Tomorrow was nice.
All right, that's all for now. Thanks for watching. Take care of yourself.
Good night.